Hey, this is Roger Moret from Agnostic Front, and you're watching Aftershock TV.
All right, so let's go to our next topic here. Now, this is I just want to we don't have to take a ton of time with this one. I want to just get your take on this. This is more of like a very, I guess, opinionated sort of one. So, this is I guess they did a follow-up from a story that came out last year. The music industry obviously was one of the most devastated industries due to COVID-19 during the pandemic. And there was that whole, I guess it was called the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it was for these bands, for like a lot of bands, it was for the payroll and operations, for all the people that worked for them and so forth. Really meant to just keep the artists afloat during the lockdowns, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously they couldn't tour until 2021. And these, I guess, loans or grants or whatever, that they were just, like I said, just to help small businesses, self-employed workers, all that. So there's a recent report, and a lot of these bands are getting grilled, and I guess we could talk about if we agree with it or not. But, I've got the Alice in Chains up here. They were one of the bands mentioned. So I'll just focus really on the metal bands. I mean, the big names are Alice in Chains, Korn, and Slipknot, including your old employers there, Knotfest, were on this as well. But a lot of being accused from abusing the program. Okay, so Alice in Chains now, they're one of the ones that are getting really raked over the coals here because they had just sold their entire catalog for $49 million. And so they were taking in millions through this grant. And when they, I guess, followed the money, this money didn't go to, those people that I guess it was supposed to go to, or it was designed to go to, the whole grant itself. Now, what's your take on this? Does this change? There's a lot of people out there that are like, man, scumbags throwing out their records, saying, what a bunch of scumbags, fuck them. Does this change your outlook on the bands going forward, as I mentioned, or is this just a big nothing burger in your opinion?
To me, it's a nothing burger, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, anybody that doesn't think that all musicians are kind of shitty scumbags anyway doesn't know the music business. It's a scummy business. It really is. It's a scummy business. It's lowlifes that found a talent. Let's be honest. If these guys hadn't figured out how to sing or play guitar or whatever, they're fucking greeting you at Walmart or robbing stores. That's that's who musicians are. They're honest. And I'm not saying
I know
that
what you mean.
mean.
Yeah, I know.
There's a reason that 9 of every 10 rock musicians has a drug problem. Why? Because they're all drug addicts that found a skill to pay for their drug problems. But they were drug problems. Dude, there's a reason that going all the way back to the 70s, every fucking band had a drug addict in it. Because they're not great people. And I don't even say that to be mean. I'm just being honest.
Sure.
So there's that. This being said, I hate more than anything that they're equating what the band had in their bank account to taking these loans. Because it doesn't matter. There was plenty of $1 million corporations, $1 billion corporations that took these loans because their business was shut down. Doesn't matter how much they'd made before it. COVID fucked everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, just of the people that are watching this right now here in the United States, how many of y'all took 1 or 2 checks that you didn't pay back? Now, it didn't matter how much money you had in the bank. It was just fill this paper out and you get, I don't even know what the number was. I didn't take it, but what was it, $2,600 or whatever? Or $3,000?
Something like that, yeah.
Whatever it was, y'all took it. You all took it. That is people ranging from not having enough money to pay their rent to people that had $500,000 in the bank.
Sure.
It doesn't matter what these guys had and what they sold on their catalog. The fact that these guys hoarded the money for themselves, not shocking. I don't agree with that. I think you got to pay your staff and your people and whatnot, but they didn't. And quite honestly, it's up to their staff of, do you stay with this band or do you not?
Yeah.
You don't trust them anymore. I wouldn't trust them anymore. But that's kind of, I don't think it's a huge deal. I just think it's these guys showing their integrity, and big shock. Musicians lacking integrity.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. Look, I mean, it's not because I like, I am a huge, obviously, Alice in Chains fan, but It's not because of that. Like it's like you said. I mean, look, the pandemic, and I'm making excuses for it. Is like you said, is it an ethically or morally, positive thing? No, of course not, right? But let's be honest. Everyone's up in arms about, oh, they took, this is all taxpayer money. But where's being up in arms about every other fucking thing that the government takes our money from? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we could go on for this for days, right? Secondly, COVID, it was a time for not just musicians, obviously, but everybody, especially small businesses. And I think that's why people are probably like, talking about this. But right, it was the unknown. Like, shit, what's going to happen? Now, the bands were going through that themselves. Right? If you're one of these guys and you're like, oh shit, man, like is this the end of our career? Are we done? Am I not going to make another dime, for playing live or putting out a record anymore because I can't play, live shows or whatever it is? The fear of the unknown is what I think got a lot of people. Look, we've interviewed how many musicians? We interviewed like Mark Rizzo, right? Look what he came out and talked about Max Cavalera fucking him over. We saw this with like almost every band. Because when there's not this all of a sudden influx of money coming, it's like, okay, who's going to get this? I'm getting it. I'm the main guy. And this is where all the rats come out. Like you said, this is a scummy business in general. Yeah, you know it when you go into it. It's sort of like, that's why a lot of people sell their souls to make it in this business. Because it's only the way I think you're going to get to survive. It's very rare to be this very ethical person and to be able to swim and stay afloat within the music business, most sink if you don't follow along with that. And again, is that excuse? No, but this is the business. I mean, we all know this. I mean, we look at it, people complain about Spotify all the time. They don't pay enough. I mean, that's the thing. It's just because it's a subjective business too. There isn't your typical supply demand you have with tangible products. It's all subjective. So it's like, a band puts out a great album, everyone wants to buy it. They put out a shitty album, no one wants to buy it. No one wants to go see them. So it is just one of those businesses where, your career could be done overnight, and we've seen that happen. And just from bands, we saw that with the 80s when just a new sound came in, and all the whole air metal was done. Those guys were done overnight. We hear about that all the time, all that those guys went through. So I think this is just another panic. I got to get what I can take while I can type of thing. And like you said, it doesn't matter about their back catalog. What they sold that for, you know what I mean? And it's funny because reports coming out, it's only the rock and metal sites here that are blasting. What are they blasting? They're blasting rock and metal bands, but there's a ton of pop artists that did this as well, and you don't see anything in the news about them, and they're the ones that make the most. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I agree with you. I don't think this is a big deal. Like, listen, like you said, is it ethically, good? No. We all know that, but like you said, we all know that the business in general is a shit. It's just a shithole of a business. So this is nothing surprising. I think it's a nothing burger myself. And
well, have we forgotten who Alice in Chains are? Their singer died of a drug overdose.
Yeah,
and they all were drug addicts.
They're all drug addicts. Yep.
So
the original bassist died too of drugs.
Yeah. So is it shocking that a band comprised of drug addicts, former or current, would do something to take money and not share it responsibly? Not shocking to me.
Not shocking at all. It's to be expected.
Yeah, Do you expect the local meth head to be a model employee? No. It's just the way it is.
No, and I think people accept that. They know it. I think they know, like, rock, musicians are like almost supposed to be doing things like this. You know what I mean?
Of course, that's what they do.
We've come to expect it, and like you said, there isn't going to be no clean cut, perfect guy out there that's just going to go, here's some of my money. I don't need this. No, you do need it because this is not a sustained. It's a business that could go over your band, and your career can be done in literally overnight for one bad move.
People attach themselves to their bands and their music, and they want to have this idealistic approach to, well, these are my guys. But you know what? Your guys are shit. All bands pretty much are shit. The ones that are not shitty people are the ones that don't last.
That don't last. They don't make any money in it. Exactly.
No, because they're not cutthroat enough to survive.
That's exactly it. It's a very cutthroat, very cunning business.
Yeah.
And if you're not one of those, or you don't have management that can do that for you, while you're on the sidelines, because it's either you're going to do it or your management's going to do it.
Yeah.
You know, so, and then of course, if you got management, I mean, you can sit there and go, people go, well, if you know what goes on, you should, you know, it's not the management's fault. You know, you should blah, 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 whatever. Look, again, they know they're not going to survive in the, you know, this business is all, you know, fire and brimstone, it's hellacious business.
Dude,
So
look at the most successful guys in the world. I'll just pick one. Ozzy. Ozzy has survived everything.
Sure.
Everything. He's survived being paralyzed. He's survived being a junkie. He's survived being almost dead. He's survived everything. Why has he survived everything? Because he brought in a cutthroat broad that fucking managed him.
Absolutely.
And has fucked over everybody in the industry, and everybody likes to shit on Sharon Osbourne for days. But let's be honest, without Sharon Osbourne, there is no last 35 years of Ozzy Osbourne. It's her cutthroat. I'm going to win at all costs. I'll take on the biggest bands in the world, Iron Maiden, the most popular band in the world. I'll take them on and tell them that they're full of shit, and I will win because I'm a cutthroat bitch. And that's the business we're in. Everybody needs to accept it. COVID was a monumental fuck of your mind and your body and your soul. Accept that, and the artist fucked back the system that fucked them. End of story. There's nothing really to be upset about in my mind.
I agree. You know, and like I said, if everyone's going to get upset about this because they took the taxpayers' money,
then give your check back.
Well, exactly. And let's go and, you know, dig deep into the weeds of everyone else who's taking the government's money. I mean, the taxpayers' money. I mean, it's endless. And, you know, like I said, I'm not agreeing with it, like I said.
Yeah, I'm not either.
But at the same time, when this happened and everyone's going, shit, as our career's done, whatever, it's for survival and stuff. And listen, not just survival. Obviously, people are like, well, I mean, they got plenty of money to survive. Look, everybody has a standard of living that they're used to living in, right? Like our living's between me and you, right? Our own living, too.
Yeah.
If I had to downsize, you know, that would suck. I'm going to do whatever it takes, probably.
Of course.
To make sure I don't. Now, does it mean taking?
And if somebody offered you to pay your mortgage or your rent for a year, for a month or 2 months or 3 months, you take it.
Well, I want to see as many people then go after the student loan things if they're going to go after the Alice in Chains. Because how many people took out loans that aren't paying their student loans back? That's where do you think that money's coming from? That's not free. So again, it all comes from that. But yeah, I just think this is just I don't know why this was all interesting how this was put out there that way. Although it seems to be kind of dying already. I don't think anybody's giving it the reaction that they thought may have.
It got popped because social media is a fucking cesspool.
Yeah,
that's why.
True.
Something new to complain about.
Yep. Good point. That's it's simple as that. Exactly, man. Yep.
I had an interest in music always.
It's always kind of been around me some way, shape, or form.
5 minutes sitting on a drum set, man, change your life.
This is the same black guitar that Marty McFly plays in Back to the Future.
I love the feeling I get in front of the freaking full stack here, just the vibration or something to it.
I'm lucky because I do have a little bit of a tap into the Fu Manchu lore, into the Nebula lore.
In order to keep things going, you kind of have to like start playing the game a little bit, you know, like the business game.
Everybody has to get through a day-to-day, and how do you exist and how do you get by?
As far as getting people to commit to bands, it's tough to keep a lot together these days, for sure.
Still sleeping on people's floor, that's still a reality.
Probably also playing with some of the best people I've ever played with. The creative juices don't stop. It just keeps going.
For me, it's just finding a balance of how much time I'm spending with my family versus how much time I'm spending working.
It's this validation that what you're doing actually has merit.
Obviously, we're a little long in the tooth, and we've been doing this for a minute, and now we can kind of do what we want. We don't need a record company. I'll do it myself. I'll do it the way I want to.
Just always be cool. Just be respectful. Those are your people. They're connecting to you on some level, even if they don't look like you.
It's got to happen, you know, or else I'll go crazy. I'll go crazy one way or another, you know. I might as well, you know, not go crazy if I can play music.
Maybe one day I'll have a Porsche, but, you know, until that day, I'll drive a Chevy.
There you go.
All right?
Nice.